Hello, welcome to new Reddit voiceover update. Today we will take a look on subreddit, Tales from Tech Support. Enjoy. Delete everything you have ever built for us. I'm not in tech support. In fact, none of my job descriptions ever included anything remotely resembling tech support. Yet, life finds a way. As a long-time night shift worker, who often hang out with the local IT folks, and demonstrated Tier1 support skills, looking up error messages, and even Tier2, willingness and ability to learn and improve, I was promoted to an honorary tech support role. It was a win-win, win-lose scenario for the guys, as they could chill at home while on call. In the meantime, I resolved low-level on-site issues and had something interesting, or at least different, to do in addition to my boring desk jockey job. The following story is not related to any of the above. Plugging VGA cables into desk stations to fix broken computers is not a story, it's business as usual. A few companies later, when the buzzwords business intelligence, data analysis, data-driven decisions, etc. started to pop up on the corporate bullshit bingo, I was already involved in these things at my current workplace. As usual, my job description had nothing to do with it, but I had to manually create a lot of reports, work with a lot of data. I'm as lazy as it comes. If I have to do the same task twice, I'm going to spend an unreasonable time trying to automate it. The result of my laziness was a Power BI dashboard hosted on SharePoint. Behind the scenes and the shiny charts there was a giant clusterfuck, as I had to solve issues with the tools I had access to. Python calling SAP GUI scripts to run custom queries, then reading and transforming the data from the resulting exported Excel files just to spit it out again as a new and improved TM spreadsheet. PowerShell to manage SharePoint, then some AutoHot and Power Automate to maximize the chaos. It had a lot of moving parts, tried to do way too much, but had classes. It was also a horrible mess, but I tried to keep it as organized as possible. Code on GitHub in a private repo, regular and conventional commits, issue tracking, well-written documentation for everything. All the other best practices. My team's standard reporting tasks, which were taking usually an entire week at the end of each month, condensed down to a few hours, which in theory could have been less if I had trusted myself, but I always QA'd the final result before releasing it for use. So, in addition to my standard role, which I performed above expectations according to my annual reviews, I was the local BI developer / data analyst / ad hoc tech support. At every salary increase cycle, I always had to ask for a salary at the top of the range of the role which I had on paper, citing the above reasons. The company always fought tooth and nail, and it was always a painful and a bit humiliating experience. Unfortunately, after a few years, they've decided that now that you've built these solutions, we don't need you anymore. We only need to hire someone to maintain it. You are fired. According to my contract, this would mean I'm still employed for another 60 days. I made sure to double-check everything. Rewrite some of the documentation to be more clear, refactor the code, especially my early Clogy solutions, made backups on my team's OneDrive, fixed as many issues I could, etc. In short, I tried to make sure that everything goes smoothly when my replacement takes over. By the time my notice period was up, they still couldn't find anyone, as they've been advertising a wonderful 3-in-1 package. Yep, my successor was supposed to do everything I was doing. My last day was at the end of the month, and I pushed out one more update under the watchful eye of my supervisor. As soon as they saw that everything has updated, security came in and my boss said to delete everything from GitHub as it's an external site and a security risk. I tried to explain that it's tied to my corporate email and it would be best to keep it alive and transfer ownership to my successor. They wouldn't budge and told me to delete it. Okay then, let's nuke it from orbit. Told them that there's a local copy, on my work laptop and also on OneDrive, not in my private folder. They said IT will take care of it. Apparently that meant a deep cleanse of my laptop without retaining any of the data, while she's on maternity leave woman's laptop was still in locker after 4 years, so the only remaining copy was in my former team's shared OneDrive folder. A month passed and my former boss called me asking for help. They still haven't found a replacement, unsurprisingly. Not wanting to burn any bridges and because I'm an exploitable idiot, I told them sure, I'll help, toss in a steak dinner voucher for 2 at a local mid-range restaurant and I'll help. They were dragging their feet, despite the fact that my ask was significantly lower in value than what the contractor rate would have been, and I knew they could expense it anyway. After a day or two they gave in. I hopped on my bike, signed an NDA, got a laptop and asked a team member to add me to the team's channel so I can start working. Long live Python mpit install our requirements.txt, or so I've thought. As I started to poke around on OneDrive I couldn't find my backup folder. After a while went to ask my former boss where did they move it, as I can't find it anywhere. Oh, we deleted them, didn't seem important. We're only a couple of files though, I'm sure you can easily do it again. Those few files were the result of hundreds of hours of experimentation, trying to figure out how the various systems work together. Just the pandas part was a couple hundred lines of unfucking data, and without documentation there was literally zero chance of recreating it in a short amount of time. Can't you just restore from that online hub thing? Not really, as you specifically asked me to delete it despite my PRO tests. I left without getting my steak dinner. A few days later they've called me again asking me how much would it cost make a brand new dashboard. Apparently some corporate bigwigs overseas were using it for their C-level bullshit PowerPoint meetings. Remember, it included global data, and we're pretty pissed that the fancy charts are gone. I may or may not have found a relatively recent local version of the Git repo on my Raspberry, which I may or may not have used to do some of the number crunching as my old shitty corporate laptop could barely handle anything, yet a RPI-4 8GB outperformed it. May or may not have forgotten to mention this obvious security breach and build out my hours as I've been creating everything from scratch. TLDR, you are no longer needed makes shiny charts go away, which could have been fixed with a steak dinner if people weren't stupid. They were, and I could buy a few nice things. I have expensive hobbies, smiley face. Tech support during my dentist appointment. Today I went to the endodontist to get a root canal. As he was about to give me a numbing shot, he found out that the internet was down. He said I can't do anything until the internet is back up. So I am patiently waiting around for them to resolve the issue. I could hear they were trying to talk with IT support. After some time, I tell the dentist, I am a software engineer. Perhaps I can help. Sure. He shows me, he had a server where he stores patient data. He had 3 patient rooms with computers connecting to this server. The internet wasn't really down. The clients just weren't able to connect to the server. He allowed me to touch the computers. I checked, and was able to successfully ping the server from the client computers. So what's going on? I watched the IT person remotely try to use the software. I notice they are trying to connect to it using a domain name. I check, is the domain pointing to the right IP? No, it isn't. I get the software to connect to the IP. This works. The doctor happily thanks me and gives me the numbing shot. Then a minute later, the software stops using the IP. Something in it remembered the old server name. They went back to their IT guy trying to fix it. With my numb mouth, I went ahead and just updated the hosts file on all the computers to point the domain to the IP number. This worked. They did the root canal. The dentist thanked me, said he was going to close for the day if not for me. They didn't charge me the 250 copay for the root canal. I left a note for the IT guy that was supposed to come the next day, about what I did, and my suggestions about what he should do next. Wish every issue in life was this simple to resolve. Please turn off your computer. A few years back I was still an apprentice at our small IT department. 3 full-time employees and me. This user interaction shaped how I approached any support I had to do going forward. The first big project I was involved in was the upgrade from Windows 7 to Windows 10 clients throughout the company building. Instead of just upgrading Windows, our department lead decided it was best to buy completely new small form factor computers to get rid of old hardware. My task in all of this was to make appointments with employees to get their hardware swapped and make sure no files were saved on desktop, no backups for that. For our employee of the story, I managed to get an appointment just before lunch break, emphasizing that no files were to be saved on the desktop to avoid losing important data. As I arrived, they just finished working on a file and I immediately spot files on the desktop. Me, you should move the files on the desktop to your home folder, otherwise you won't have access to them anymore. Employee, oh, those are just temporary files, I don't need them anymore. Me, should we move them just in case? Employee, nope, not needed. Me, alright, fine. Then please turn off your computer so I can swap it for your new one. Employee, sure. They then proceed to turn off both monitors. Me, a bit dumbfounded, okay sure, but please turn off your computer as well, otherwise I won't be able to swap it. Employee, I don't know how cause I don't see anything anymore. Me, while still dumbfounded, proceed to turn the monitors back on and turn off the computer. The employee left for lunch while I was swapping it for the new one. A day later I get a call from said employee that important documents are missing from the desktop. Edit, formatting. That's not compressed air. Was told to share this here. So I'm a manager of a grocery store and we have multiple automated self-checkout machines. One of our machines was down with a coin dispensing error. I opened the machine up, did everything I've been shown in the past to clear any errors we had, and nothing worked. One of my other managers called it into our IT department and they called us back an hour later and got us in touch with a tech that fixes these machines to do some over-the-phone troubleshooting. About 15 minutes later I end up walking by and she's on the phone with a tech and I asked, is everything okay? She said yeah, everything's going okay. The tech had me clean inside and blow everything out. I look over and there's a can of WD-40. I asked her, did he tell you to spray it out with condensed air? And she said yeah, that right there. I said no, that's WD-40. That's like spraying grease in there. I kid you not, it was like watching a watch people die inside video in real life. I said well, at least it's not gonna squeak anymore, and then walked away. I can't stop laughing. Now I'm also afraid of the bill to have the whole thing replaced, LOL. Can you stop my PC honking at me? So today I got one of those fun cases where the customer is happy, I'm happy, and everything gets resolved. Me and my colleague were sitting around waiting for the last hour to pass in an extremely slow workday. When we get a bing at the front desk and a happy-looking man waves at me as I peek out from my cubicle. A smiling employee can mean one of two things. One, he is clueless to the problem he's dealing with and it will take hours. Or two, the problem seems minor to him and he feels silly for asking for help when in reality it's a real problem. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the number 2 option. Me, hey, How can I help you today? Happy, so it's pretty silly, but can you stop my PC honking at me? So, probably post beeps I think to myself, can be one of many things. Me, imitates a post beep like that? Happy, yes yes. Exactly like that. It happens when my PC starts and my coworkers keep making fun of it. It's getting annoying, maybe you can mute it? Me, yeah, let's get that fixed for you. How long have you had this problem? Happy, oh, it for a year maybe? Me, a year? The machine has beeped at you like this on every startup for a year? Happy, yeah, it was funny at first, now it's annoying. So I restart the computer and it's super slow. These are modern machines but the post time is closer to 3 minutes. Eventually it honks at me with a Intel Management Engine error. Not a problem, we can fix that with a BIOS update. Happy, yeah, it does that every time. It kept working so I didn't want to bother you with it. Okay, so this user didn't mind the massive error screen he had at every boot. He also didn't mind the fact that it took him 3 minutes every morning to get the computer up and running. Different strokes, I guess. So I installed the latest BIOS and while I'm at it I set him up with the latest drivers for the rest of the computer. I restart and it posts in a normal 13 seconds without the whole NK. Happy, oh, you fixed it. Excellent. Man, that's so nice, and it's fast. Thank you so much. Now I have to announce to my coworkers when I arrive by myself again, chuckles me. Yeah, no problem. Glad it worked well, have a good weekend. Happy, you too. And thank you so much again. I love when things work out so well. But I think I love happy and grateful coworkers more. The honking PC was fixed and my coworker could get back to work without announcing his presence wherever he goes. My slow Friday turned into a perfect start to my weekend. May your customers be as grateful and your weekend relaxing. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. If you want to see your favorite subreddit in next video, leave a comment.